Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Johnson City Board of Commissioners for Thursday, June 15th to order. Giving our invocation tonight will be Aaron Wymer, Senior Minister of Grandview Christian Church. If you'd stand for the invocation and then stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
God, I thank you for men and women willing to serve you as commissioners. I pray for their wisdom tonight. I thank you for concerned citizens who care about the flourishing of this city. And I ask that this meeting will be a meeting of unity and peace, and that wise decisions will be made for people of all races, all creeds, all religions, so that we can be a community of strength and wholeness. All honor and praise and glory belong to you, O God. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Please just allow me just a quick 30 seconds to make a quick statement. I appreciate it. I've received several requests from citizens to sign a mayor's agreement to abide by the Paris Accord. Apparently, some of our big four mayors have signed that agreement, and quite honestly, I have no idea what it is. So it's really not the mayor's job to speak independently of the commission. We speak as one. We're a voice, not always in agreement. The majority of this group is where policy is set. And I would say that my answer to those who have asked is that we really don't need an agreement signed in France or legislation enacted in Washington or Nashville to tell Johnson City how to act on a lot of things, this being one of them. We've been an environmentally conscious city for a long time. We're one of the very first cities in the area that did curbside recycling. We have hybrid cars in our fleet. I mean, we attempt to do the right thing regardless of what anybody in Paris, Washington, or Nashville might try to direct us to do. So we'll continue on that path of doing the right thing. We're a pretty pragmatic group, and you can either take action to make a point, or you can take action to accomplish something. And I think we would like to spend our time on things we can actually accomplish. We're not looking to make a point to anybody. We're about schools and roads and making a great place to live. So that's my answer to that question. So, Mr. Peterson, what's our first item on the agenda?
We would first like for you to consider adding an item to the agenda. That item is consider a street closure revision to the Johnson City Downtown Merchants Association associated with the First Friday events.
I would move the agenda be amended accordingly.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Jennings, you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Fowler?
Yes.
Commissioner Wise?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock?
Yes.
Mayor Tamita?
Yes.
Next order of business is consideration of the minutes of your meeting held on June the 1st.
Move approval.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Jennings, you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Fowler?
Yes.
Commissioner Wise?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock?
Yes.
Mayor Tamita?
Yes.
At this time, I would like to ask former mayors Bales and Darden if they could come up, and Vice Mayor Brock. We have a little award we need to celebrate, and certainly want to recognize Commissioner Mayors Bales and Darden for their efforts in helping us achieve this award.
Well, first of all, are we on? Mayor, thank you so much for allowing me to make this presentation. And I would like to say that when I joined the commission in 2013, one of the first things I got to do was open the Tweetsie Trail. And it was a great event. That opening day, we had, I think, about 3,500 people on that trail coming from Elizabethton to Johnson City. We knew if we could get them out there on that one day, they'd come back. And guess what? they have. But what I really want to say to the two of you, and which is the biggest part of our job as commissioners, is that we see the big picture and we plant the seeds for the future. And that's what you have done. If I ever have a bad day, I just go stand on the Tweetsie Trail and everybody comes up and say, great job. But I know I didn't plant those seeds. But it's ours now to maintain that and to keep it going, and then to look at the future of what we can do from there. And so we have a master trail plan for the whole city. And so we're continuing to move in that direction, and the citizens really, really value that. Mayor Banyas, the thing you did was appoint a task force headed up by Dan Schumeyer that made it happen. And so it was great to be able to go down to Nashville to pick this award up. I have had people say, well, y'all spent a lot of money on a trail, and I always answer it like this. When you look at what we spent and you divide it by perpetuity, it's about 0.0000001 cent a day. So this award just supports the sustainability of the Tweetsie Trail. And we were given an award from TDEC and TDOT, right? For the Sustainable Transportation Award, the City of Johnson City for the Tweetsie Trail as a mobile, sustainable transportation corridor between two cities that I do believe will be here in perpetuity. So I want to thank both of you for all you've done, and for Mayor Darden for what you did to really carry the mantle to get this thing started. And probably a lot of people are saying, you're going to do what? You're going to buy a railroad? So I would like to present this to y'all. We will keep it here at City Hall out front in the lobby. But also, we'd really like for y'all to say a couple words about the experience of the Tweetsie Trail.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Brock, Mr. Peterson, Commissioners, Mayor Tamina. I'm very proud to have played such a small part in such a large and complex project. I thank Mr. Peterson and your staff for all the hard work that you put into negotiating with the railroad to make this come to fruition. I want to thank the Tweetsie Trail Committee, of which Mayor Darden was part, for all their hard work and volunteer time to get the project done in under a year. And also want to thank Mr. Penzola, you and the Public Works Department for the many hours that you spent building the trail. And there's probably 50 other people that I could name that played an important role, and I won't do that. And they know who they are, and we want to thank them for all they did. And this is a very prestigious award, and I'm very proud that the city has won it. But most of all the things that I'm proud of, I'm happy for the citizens of Johnson City, and I'm happy for the city of Johnson City that we have such a wonderful amenity in our city.
Is there any time left for
Take as much as you need.
That's enough.
Well, you know, Mayor Banyas, he looks a lot older than I do, but a lot of people are surprised to know we actually graduated the same year from Science Hill, 1978. I don't know if you polled the teachers who were there at that time, if they would have predicted that the two of us would have been able to serve the city as mayors. But I won't repeat what Jeff said, but I will echo it. I will single out one person who had a tremendous amount of impact on this project, and that's Charlie Stahl, who was Elizabethton's city manager before he joined the city staff here in Johnson City. And when he came on board, he came armed with a lot of knowledge about this rail line. And we had a meeting in early 2006. So it did take a while for it to come to fruition, but that meeting sort of got the ball rolling, and to use a railroading term, it picked up steam as it went. And I think when it was all said and done, this project had more broad-based support than anything I can remember us doing during my time on the city commission. So I would just say that I think this award is wonderful. Thank you for inviting me down to be part of accepting it. I think it's an award for the citizens of Johnson City and to all the people who had a hand in this project. And as Vice Mayor Brock says, I think it's going to be here for a long time, and it's only getting better. So thank you for the opportunity to come and share this moment.
Let's have the commission stand up. And by the way, that's made out of recycled glass. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, like that. So.
There we go. It's old school.
And by the way, we're just having a survey that's going to be started in September to really do a citizen survey on use of the trail and count some numbers and see how many are out there. We know it's a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, thanks. More amazing to find that is that I graduated the year after these two gentlemen, and it really befuddled the staff at Science Hill High School when they see this. They kind of expected that these two, this one not so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, it's probably worth adding, in the last several meetings, we've had the opportunity to recognize the Rotary Club for their contributions to the inclusive playground at Rotary Park, and now the Tweetsee Trail. And these are two things that citizens in Johnson City are rightfully very proud of. And I think the takeaway in both of these recognitions is the degree to which those sorts of projects don't emanate from here, they emanate from out there. And so whether you're talking about the community events or these two very significant features and amenities in our community, they're bottom up, they're not top down, and there's a lot of people who deserve to be recognized for the work that goes into making them happen.
At this time, Mayor, if we could ask Dr. Richard Bales to come forward, please, sir, for a very, very special recognition.
Commissioner Wise made some comment on how we had to juggle a few things up here. And this one's especially. You want me to hold it back? Well, that'd be great. I'm here to help. Took the hit. Yeah.
You can read it too.
Yeah, probably read it. And Dr. Bales, this is a very bittersweet moment. We've really enjoyed working with you. I can't thank you enough for you. I almost got all three of mine through. 1 year short on the last one, but I think she's close enough to the finish line. She's going to make it. She'll be all right. But it's been a wonderful experience for him. They've had a great, got a great education. We've got one that graduated from UT in May, special education. So hopefully she'll. No, she ain't doing back here. But again, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Enjoyed knowing you. It's been a pleasure. And I assume we'll see you. You're not leaving. I'll be around. So we'll read the framed resolution for you here. Whereas Dr. Richard Bales joined Johnson City Schools in 1997 as principal of Greenwood Elementary, was named supervisor of secondary education and programs in 2003, and was promoted to superintendent of schools in 2005. And whereas Dr. Bales was named Tennessee First District Superintendent of the Year in 2015, and earlier this year was bestowed a Lifetime Achievement Award named Outstanding Superintendent of the Year by the Tennessee PTA, as well as being honored by the United States Army with the Medal and Commander's Award for Public Service. And whereas, under Dr. Bales' leadership, Johnson City School students have experienced tremendous accomplishment in arts and unprecedented academic achievements, being ranked third in the state among K-12 school systems on combined assessments. And whereas throughout his tenure, Dr. Bales always remained committed to sustained excellence in the classroom by teachers and students alike, and has placed a special emphasis on school safety, providing secure buildings and comprehensive mental health services for students. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Johnson City on his May 25th, 2017 retirement, that Dr. Bales, Richard Bales, is officially commended for his service to the city and the community. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Dr. Bales for well wishes in his future endeavors. say a few words.
Sure. Just, I want to thank, first of all, the citizens and taxpayers of Johnson City, but really the commission and all the mayors that I've worked with, and Mr. Peterson. Everyone has been so supportive. I was telling the staff today, I've been in Johnson City 20 years, and I couldn't have dreamed of a more supportive place for me and my family, but especially for our students. We have lots of discussions with you all as a commission, and sometimes we argue, and that's okay because we come out the better for it and our students benefit from it. But the staff here has also been great. Janet, Becky, everyone is really a friend of education in this city, and that really matters. And I just want to encourage your strong support and continuation of that support of education in our city. And I also want to thank Transit for all their work. Unsung heroes, and they do a good deal of work. I really appreciate this recognition. The town means a lot to me, and I plan to be here. So thank you very much.
Mayor, could we, commission just
Absolutely.
weigh in just a little bit? Dr. Bales? That's all right. We go back a long way, I think to 2007 when I served on the school board, and I just want to give you a personal thanks because my six and a half years on the school board, the thing that you did to center the Board of Education was to keep the focus on students and learning. And you are a great instructionalist, and you really kept the hammer down in terms of the achievement of our school system. Being on the commission, it was a great honor to work as hard as we could to fund adequately the school system. You're going to be missed, I know a lot, but I just want to personally thank you because your priorities were in the right place, and they're for our kids. The mayor's my three grandchildren now who are in the school system, all of us in the Johnson City school system. We couldn't be prouder, and I want to wish you the best of luck, and I know you're going to say being busy anyway. So stay in touch.
I'll do it. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. We forgot your watch.
I don't plan on keeping time.
You better give your watch back, right?
When you retire, Dr. Bales, time becomes less important. All right, at this time, if we could ask Emily Brockelman and Andy Darwhite if they would come forward, and we'd like to present them with a proclamation recognizing Olympic Day.
Well, welcome. I was going to read you the Alzheimer's one, so I'm glad I went down before I got up here. Whereas for over 100 years, the Olympic movement has built a more peaceful and better world by educating young people through amateur athletics and bringing together athletes from many countries in friendly competition. And whereas the United States Olympic Committee is dedicated to coordinating and developing amateur athletic activity to foster productive working relationships amongst sports-related organizations. And whereas the City of Johnson City promotes and supports athletic activities involving Olympic and Paralympic sport. And whereas June 23rd is the anniversary of the founding of the modern Olympics movement, representing the date on which the Congress of Paris approved the proposed of Pierre de Coubertin to found the modern Olympics. And whereas Olympic Day commemorates the birth of the modern Olympic Games and serves as an international effort to promote fitness and well-being in addition to the Olympic ideals of fair play, perseverance, respect, and sportsmanship. Now therefore, I, David Tomita, Mayor of the City of Johnson City, Tennessee, in conjunction with the United States Olympic Committee, do hereby proclaim June 23rd Olympic Day in Johnson City and congratulate all the volunteers and athletes participating in the Olympic Day events and activities which will help develop strong character and healthy lifestyles for our youngest citizens. Speaking of high school, thank you, Cookie McKinney, for my 2 years of French. May not have gotten that one. So here you are. Congratulations. Would you like to introduce yourself and say a few words?
My name is Andy Dodrovich. First of all, we We have some Olympic Day t-shirts. I think all of you got some. So we hope to see you guys wearing them around this coming week. Olympic Day is a week from tomorrow. It is from 9 to 12. It is open to the public. It is free of charge, no registration. Please come out. It's a great opportunity. I think we had between 600 and 700 kids last year. We're hoping for around 1,000 this year. But the kids get to participate in all manner of track and field activities. We'll have some soccer, some weightlifting, rugby. We'll even have a sports science station. So, variety of activities for the kids. We even have an Olympian, John Daly, who was an Olympic skeleton athlete in the Sochi Olympics, will be there as well. So we hope all of you will be out there bringing kids, any grandkids, and we look forward to seeing you.
Introduce
Sure. I'm Emily Brockelman. I'm the event coordinator for the Center of Excellence for Sports Science and Coach Education. And we do this every year. Our first one was in 2012. That was the year that we were designated as an Olympic training site. So this is our 5th year now, and so we're hoping to see everybody out there.
Tell us where, what happened.
It is at Kermit Tipton Stadium on the campus of Science Hill, and it'll be from 9 to 12. Thanks all.
If I can make one final comment, sorry, from the dais tonight. A lot of people ask what we do with proceeds from the turkey trot. And this is one of the things that we do as one of the key sponsors to Olympic Day. And as Dr. Donowich indicated, we think there'll be over 1,000 of our youth participating in very good, healthy, competitive games. So we're excited about that. If you want to come out and see the kids file into the stadium and do the march and all the walk, it's great. It's a great thing to see. So thank y'all for all you do for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we would like to present a proclamation recognizing Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't get the purple memo.
I brought purple for you. Dennis did, but it's okay, yeah. No worries.
Well, this is pretty special. Our family is in the midst of dealing with this disease right now, so we certainly know what you're talking about. It's stunning to see the statistics. So appreciate what you're doing, and I'll read this for you. Whereas Alzheimer's disease is a progressive degenerative disorder that attacks the brain and results in impaired memory, thinking, and behavior, ultimately leaving its victims totally incapable of caring for themselves. And whereas every 66 seconds somebody in the United States develops Alzheimer's disease, with 1 in 7 of those over the age of 65 and nearly half over the age of 85, the disease also affects a percentage of persons in their 30s and 40s. And whereas 5.4 million Americans are living with the disease today, with 120,000 of those in Tennessee, and nearly 15 million Americans care for somebody with Alzheimer's or other dementia, which results in approximately $185 billion in healthcare costs. And whereas Alzheimer's does not just affect memory and behavior, but actually the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, and is the only cause of death in the top 10 that cannot be prevented, cured, or even slowed. That's grim. Whereas the Alzheimer's Association is a not-for-profit voluntary health organization working throughout the world, country, and region to provide education and advocacy and to support research efforts and new drug treatments that help improve quality of life for patients and reduce strain on caregivers. Now, therefore, I, David Tamina, Mayor of the City, Johnson City, Tennessee, in conjunction with the Worldwide Awareness Initiative of the Alzheimer's Association, do hereby proclaim June 2017 Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month in Johnson City, where request that citizens become educated on the effect of Alzheimer's disease and dementia on both patients and caregivers, so that we may help improve quality of life for those affected by these disorders. And if y'all like to introduce yourselves, say a few words.
I'm Meredith Sieber, Manager of Development for the Alzheimer's Association.
I'm Leah White. I'm the Walk event chair for the Walk to End Alzheimer's event that will be September 30th at Willow Springs Park.
I'm Valentina Gonzalez, and I just joined the Walking Planning Committee. I'm the chair as well.
As Mr. Tamina explained to you guys the facts and figures about Alzheimer's disease, June is so important because our main goal is to bring awareness about this disease because it's affecting, millions of people every day. Or over 5 million people are suffering from this, but actually 15 million people are actually caring for those 5 million. It's going to bankrupt the system, quite honestly. So your support and the City of Johnson City support of Alzheimer's disease and bringing awareness to our community is so important. We focus on finding a cure and bringing research to our area. We're actually doing an idea study right now at Quillen College of Medicine. It's basically an opportunity where people can get a PET scan through a clinical trial. Right now, PET scans are very hard to come by. They're extremely expensive. Medicare will not pay for those. And so we are seeing a lot of people being misdiagnosed. Alzheimer's disease is under the umbrella of dementia. There's 100 different types of dementia out there, but with us, we can give you information, community resources, help, education programs. If you need it, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. But I cannot stress enough to bring awareness about this disease. Both Leah and I are personally experiencing this in our families, as well as David was explaining. I just appreciate you guys letting us do this today. And walked into Alzheimer's September 30th. Willow Springs Park. We're looking for sponsors, we're looking for walkers, we're looking for teams, anything to do to help. We're trying to conquer the world. So, 9 a.m. for registration. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I would just like to challenge the committee and the city to help bring awareness to this by painting the town purple. So I've actually, Valentina, if you give the committee members each one of those purple ribbons, if y'all could wear these for the month of June, we would really appreciate it. It will bring awareness, and if we can do something with the city to put purple ribbons around so people start asking, hopefully we can make this relationship grow for next year and we can make it even bigger. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Mayor, next order of business is consideration of a beer license application for White Fox Ventures LLC doing business as the Den Pub and Grill. This is an application for a Class 1 on-premise license. The appropriate reviews have been made, finding no disqualifying factors. The recommendation would be for approval.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Jeff Cooper.
Mark Leffy. Business address 1805 North Run Street, Suite G9.
And have you read the rules and regulations regarding the sale of beer in the city of Johnson City?
Yes, sir.
You understand those rules?
Yes, sir.
You agree to abide by those rules?
Absolutely.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, sir.
Do we have a motion?
So moved. Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Jefferson, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Fowler?
Yes.
Commissioner Wise?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock?
Yes.
Mayor Tamita?
Yes. If you'd like to take a minute and tell us about your business, we'll hear about it.
Maybe slightly different than most places in here. It's a little mellow place next to the movie theater. The Carmichael now AMC movie, I believe, right next to that. And just nice kid-friendly environment. We sell alcohol. It's going to be a kid-friendly environment. It's not going to be one of the uproar, loud, noisy places in the neighborhood. It's not our intention. We've got a goal in mind, and just bring a nice, good place to come and eat and sit down and have a cold beer if you want, and good food.
Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank all of you.
Mayor, at this time, we would like for you to consider revision to the street closure request by the Johnson City Downtown Merchants Association for First Friday events. The revision, the original approval was approved on May the 4th, 2017 by this body. The applicant would like to revise the application to include the authorization for use of food trucks, merchant vendors, staging, and other temporary structures, and to also allow for sound amplification during the event. We've reviewed this, and the recommendation is for approval.
Very good.
Thank you. I wanted to thank you all for putting us on the agenda so quickly today, and I also wanted to thank you for your continued patience with us. We're a new organization. I think most of you know we just came into existence last year. We really appreciate your patience with us waiting through these procedures, and we look forward to continuing working with you.
Do we need a motion to approve? Yeah, I would make that motion.
Second.
Second. That motion and second. Any discussion? Call for roll.
Commissioner Fowler?
Yes.
Commissioner Wise?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock?
Yes.
Mayor Temita?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One of our objectives is to try to be very easy to work with. We may not always like what you hear from us, but we want to expedite things when we can. So good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Do they want to say something about their event?
Would you like to tell us a little bit about, take that, just kind of tell us about what you're doing and what you look forward to, the great food trucks and live music that you're going to do?
And you moved the time from mid-summer to September, is that correct?
Well, this is just for the first Fridays. The festival itself, yes, and we didn't move it. Blue Plum's still going to be June every year. They just moved the location to Founders Park. And then we have filled the void and put the Little Chicago Festival downtown. So now there's still going to be a festival every year downtown with the street closures. It's the second weekend in August, and it will resemble the Blue Plum that we're used to with the street closures, the local music, the street vendors. The first Friday, when the merchants took it over, we were kind of struggling with what we wanted it to be. We didn't know if we wanted to continue the same format that's been happening with the vendors and the music. We were kind of thinking we wanted to mirror what Kingsport had done on their first Thursdays, where they were doing more open houses inside their wine walk. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But we had kind of tossed around the idea of doing that, but then put it out to the membership for a vote, and the membership of the Merchants Association said they really wanted it to be what it has been with the street vendors and the music every first Friday. So hence we had to change our application again. So now the first Friday is going to look like what you're used to seeing with the vendors and the music, the street closures.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
See you down there. I'm sure it's fun.
Absolutely.
Of course they will.
Of course they will.
Mayor, your next order of business is consideration of appointments. And in our meeting earlier this afternoon to review the agenda, I believe you had some discussion about wanting to have a full body here before you consider making any appointments. But that is next on your agenda for action.
Yeah, I'd like to ask that we defer these three items. Consider 6 appointments to the Tree and Landscaping Board, 2 appointments to the Johnson City Regional Planning Commission, and 1 appointment to the Johnson City Housing Authority. That we defer these to the second meeting in July. And
Do you need a motion to do that?
I would need a motion to do that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
I would just encourage the applicants of all 3 of these to, make calls and let us know why you wanted to serve on these committees. There were questions on some that we had no way of being able to answer, this afternoon. So I would encourage you all to do that.
And if I understand the procedure correctly, everybody serving on those boards right now will just continue to be served until they next board report. So, am I correct in that?
Yes, sir, that's my understanding.
Yeah, to echo Vice Mayor Brock, many of these people, I wouldn't know if they were standing in front of me. It's hard to put them on us, boards that are really critical to the operation of the city from a piece of paper and not really knowing who they were. So I'd encourage them just to reach out. It doesn't have to be too time consuming, just a quick phone call or a cup of coffee or something. We're generally pretty accessible and easy to get on. So I would encourage them to do that. Jennings, can you take a vote on that?
We have not.
No, then let's.
Commissioner Fowler,
Yes.
Commissioner Wise.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock.
Yes.
And Mayor Temita.
Yes.
Your next order of business is consideration of the street closure request from Umoja Arts and Culture Incorporated to accommodate the Umoja Music and Arts Festival on Friday, September the 29th and Saturday, September the 30th. There is also a request that beer be allowed in the area of the festival. The appropriate reviews have been made and the recommendation is for approval.
Very good. Anybody here on behalf of the festival? Seeing none. I believe we know I believe we know. Just a quick question. We're not closing the parking lot downtown, are we? The downtown center, or the.
That is correct. There will be restrooms in that parking lot that is set up for accessible parking. We're talking about the downtown square lot. Yes, sir.
Very good. Any questions or discussion?
Move for approval, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Ms. Jennings, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Fowler,
Yes.
Commissioner Wise.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock.
Yes.
Mayor Temita.
Yes.
Next order of business is to consider a street closure request from Umoja Arts and Culture Incorporated to accommodate the Umoja Parade to be held on Saturday morning, September the 30th. This is the usual route utilized for parade. We have reviewed and are recommending approval of the request.
Very good. Any questions?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion to second. Any further discussion? Ms. Jennings, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Fowler,
Yes.
Commissioner Wise.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock.
Yes.
Mayor Temita.
Yes.
Next item for consideration is the consent agenda.
Well, left to right, Commissioner Fowler, anything you'd like to pull for separate discussion?
No.
Vice Mayor Brock?
No.
Commissioner Wiles?
Move approval of the consent agenda.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Ms. Jennings, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Fowler,
Yes.
Commissioner Wise.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock.
Yes.
Mayor Temita.
Yes.
That gets us through the consent agenda. Your next order of business is consideration of ordinance number 4637-17. That is our budget ordinance, consideration on second reading. Ordinance 4637-17, an ordinance to establish the property tax rates, appropriate funds, and adopt a budget for fiscal year July 1, 2017 through June 30, 2018, is ready for your consideration on second reading.
Very good. Commissioners, any further discussion? Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Ms. Jennings, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Fowler,
Yes.
Commissioner Wise.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock.
Yes.
Mayor Temita.
Yes. And our third reading will be,
We need to have a special called meeting for third reading on the budget, and at this point, I think we're suggesting Monday morning at 7:30, calling it correctly?
On the 26th.
26th, yes.
Do we need to act on that, or are we just speaking that
We
into
can,
being?
we just need your direction so that we can properly post and advertise the notice of the meeting. So if that.
I plan to be there.
We'll be there.
Okay, we'll start at 7:30, and barring unanticipated changes from the board, we should have you out in 15 minutes or less. You approved it on second reading in 4 minutes, so I feel safe with 15-minute projection.
I don't know, we could surprise you.
You could, yes. Okay, thank you. Your next item for consideration is ordinance number 4638-17. An ordinance to amend the zoning map of the city of Johnson City, Tennessee, being part of the appendix to ordinance number 1519, entitled An Ordinance to Adopt a Code of Laws and Ordinances for the City of Johnson City, Tennessee, and to repeal all laws and ordinances in conflict therewith, and amendatory thereof by changing from B1 Neighborhood Business District to R6 High Density Residential University District, certain property located along South Greenwood Drive, ready for your consideration on second reading and public hearing.
The Johnson City Regional Planning Commission unanimously approved this rezoning on May 9th. The petitioner is Terry Orth. His proposal is to build 5 4-bedroom units on the property. A concept plan is required with the request. The submitted plan depicts the location of the 5 units, the building setbacks, ingress, egress on to North Greenwood Drive. The neighborhood meeting was conducted on May 4th. No one spoke in opposition to this. Staff does recommend approval of this rezoning. It's suitable for residential uses per our land use plan, and it's not out of character with the surrounding area, and our existing utilities can provide for that.
Question, Ms. Carey. I drive by this every day, and it's going to be nice to see it develop finally. I'm sure this is a new question, but 5 4-bedroom, that means 4 individual people are going to live in that with sharing the common areas.
Yes, ma'am.
Concept, which would mean at least 20 people and 20 cars. Is there adequate parking? I mean, it doesn't look as what they drafted here. The parking is adequate. Minimal. But, what do they have to provide for parking for that project?
I'm sorry, I can't answer what the parking requirements are for that. I know that the engineering and zoning checked the parking requirements with the concept plan, and it did meet the requirements.
You see what I mean? Just
yes, I do.
It doesn't,
I do.
Doesn't look real spacious. Okay.
Have you got an elevation of those?
No, that is not required at this point.
I'm going to make an educated guess here that those have drive-under garages.
Also, a
Because
5th bedroom.
the 5th bedroom, we've got a gentleman in the back that can probably answer that. Okay.
My name is Jordan. I'm the Director of Operations for
Come on up, Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Well, do we need to?
You're going to have a public hearing, so you can open it up. Jordan can speak, yes.
While you're at it, let's just open up the public hearing. All right.
All right. My name is Jordan Hodges. I'm the Director of Operations for Orth. I had some questions.
Just about the parking.
Okay.
Is there adequate parking? Is all the parking going to be
as far as I know,
outside?
we have a hired engineering firm, DT Wood Engineering. I think they've done some work for the city in the past. They are the ones that are designing this project. Got a very reputable reputation. So they do have drive-under garages for each unit. As far as I was aware with Todd, and again, I think my education probably can't speak on this, but the amount of parking per unit is displayed there. So that might be more of a question for him as far as how many is accepted within the garage and the road. But as far as I know, that is the amount.
Well, you'll have to meet the city standard.
Yeah.
I was just curious when I went to.
Okay.
When will you start the project?
It's right now kind of on our timetable, but a definite is obviously when we get an approval, it will be.
I used to put my political signs out there, so I guess I'm off.
Yeah.
I don't know, you haven't voted yet.
Grandfather.
Just for the record, I would assume you're speaking in favor of this.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak for or against this project? Seeing no further, we'll close the public hearing.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Ms. Jennings, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Fowler?
Yes.
Commissioner Wise?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock?
Yes.
Mayor Temita?
Yes.
next order of business is consideration of the concept plan associated with that rezoning.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes, this is the concept plan. It shows 5 units with the parking. The ingress egress is going to be off the North Greenwood Drive, right here. This was approved by Planning Commission, and upon final construction approval, all their regulations will have to be met.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, do we need a public hearing?
No, sir.
Nope.
But I mean, you could have one. if you
All right,
want.
let's just do it.
No.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Ms. Jones, call the roll.
Commissioner Fowler?
Yes.
Commissioner Wise?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brock?
Yes.
Mayor Temita?
Trying to be thorough. Yes.
At this time, Mayor, is public input on your agenda.
Okay, for the huge crowd that's left in the room, then now is the time that we allow for public input. If you'd like to address the commission, please step forward and do so. And then after the dust is settled, we'll close the public input session.
All right, under the manager's report, commissioners, I'd like to report a couple of things. And bring your attention to some of the information items in the back of your agenda. One that we're very proud to report. The state of Tennessee comes in and does a water system sanitary survey every couple of years. And we were just recently scored a 99 out of 100 possible points. Since 2009, we have always scored either a 98 or a 99. And if you look back to as far back as 1989, there has only been once that we scored below a 95 over that time period. So we certainly are appreciative and want to congratulate the folks in water sewer for their extraordinary work in ensuring that we have a safe sanitary water system, and that the state does come in and check our records and look over our shoulder and verify the multiple tests that we have to perform on our water system each and every day. That's something to certainly be very proud of. Another quick item, every year towards the end of June, we get some significant payments in that are built into our budget. The TVA in lieu of payments, as well as the Johnson City Power Board in lieu of payment. And as Mr. Dykes and I laugh, we swapped checks towards the end of June. He brought us in a check today that was about $198,000 more than budget, what we had budgeted. So the Power Board's assets are growing. They're making good investments into their system and their distribution system. And so that gives Janet and I a sigh of relief, because 2 weeks from the end of the fiscal year, we really look for those big checks and the accuracy of our budgeting versus what we receive. And even without exclamation marks in her email to me today, I could sense the joy from finance being sent through the internet that we received the check and it was more than what we had budgeted. So right now we're looking really good on revenues. I think it's safe to say we're there. Expenditures have come in as budgeted or less than, and we're going to close out this year in really good shape. In all likelihood, even better than the numbers that we had given you for projected numbers a couple of weeks ago. So good close out the fiscal year. We've cut off purchases for the balance of the year so that we're ready to close out the books. Everybody's preparing for hard count inventories in those places where we have inventory counts. And as far as I know, everything's in good shape. Janet, have I missed anything in terms of closeout?
No, it's going very smooth. So in good shape.
Hopefully in about 6 months we'll have another award for a great audit, and we'll be continue to move along.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Peterson, for the benefit of those who may be watching at home or by streaming, when we receive revenue in excess of budget, how does that money flow through? What are the consequences of that money, and how does it not just kind of disappear into the grand?
Anytime we have revenues in excess of budget or expenditures, that money goes to your fund balance or your savings account, and any withdrawal or drawdown of that fund balance requires specific authorization by the city commission. Typically, in the budget that we are in the process of approving now, you have authorized a drawdown of fund balance for some specific capital projects and capital equipment. We have a firm policy and have adhered to it for a decade or more, that the only reason we will draw down fund balance is for capital equipment or capital projects. We do not want to get in the habit of pulling that down for operations. You can't spend one-time money for recurring cost, and we just do not do that.
So in simple terms, that $198,000 over budget, assuming everything else remains at budget, goes into the fund balance, and we've already projected in the budget we've approved on second reading, I think about $1 million coming out of fund balance. So it's not that this 198 or whatever is in fact a bunch of extra cash that doesn't already have a place to go.
Or another way of putting that, we've budgeted to draw it down about $1 million, and with this extra 200, we're only going to draw it down 800. However
That's right.
you look at it, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's all just money.
It is reinvestment into a great community, and you all make great decisions in focusing those reinvestments in places where there's significant return on investment that enhance quality of life, promote job growth, enhance educational opportunities, and the success that we see today is a direct result of the return on investment we get for things such as the Tweetsy Trail, or further investments in education, or the downtown flooding mitigation program, additional resurfacing. When you make those kinds of wise investments with your money, others want to come and enjoy the place that we call home. They come here and they make their investments and set up their businesses and create jobs. And it's just real important that we continue to reinvest in what makes us the great place that we are. So, speaking of great investments, I do want to bring to your attention, we have an economic development recruiting trip planned, and a great opportunity to work to recruit some folks to invest in a sports science research facility here in Johnson City. And if you'll, there will be a trip abroad to recruit some folks to come here and make a significant investment in what we hope will be in the neighborhood of $50 to $60 million investment in a sports science research center. As we have discussed previously, the city's investment will be the recruiting of this new business, as well as if the program comes together, the use of the 30 acres that we own adjacent to Innovation Park. Now, the details have yet to be worked out, but as to what the deal will be if we're successful. But just to bring that forward, there will be, Mayor Tomita, Commissioner Fowler, and I will be taking off for about 10 days, the 1st of July. And hopefully we'll come back with some great news and have a significant step towards getting a major investment and potentially towards a new industry here in the region with sports research. And there's great potential there with the association with the med school, the pharmacy school, the university, the potential for perhaps the construction of a facility that could help us hold tournaments, national events, as well as to bring attention to Johnson City for the great place that it is to recreate and live, much like we talked a couple of weeks ago with the Runners magazine. Hopefully we could duplicate something like that to stimulate a new industry in the area and a significant investment. So that's that in the budget are the two significant projects on my plate currently, and the budget's about done, and I would be glad to answer any questions you may have or take any direction that you may have for myself or staff.
Two things, Mayor. Are we ready for that part? First one, Mr. Peterson, thank you, and Mr. Wilson, and Laura, and Dustin for all the hard work, and all the department heads that put this budget together. It's been a good process, and I think it's been made clear to us, so thanks for that, for the whole financial management, Janet, and the city, and great job. The second thing is just kind of a day-to-day thing. Last week, we had another accident at West Mountain View Road and Roman Street. And it was a neighbor of my sister's. She pulled out, didn't see a car coming very fast on Roman Street. It was hit. Her car went airborne and landed on its side. And somehow she was not hurt, but it could have been a catastrophe. On West Mountain View Road, East Mountain View Road, on the east side of that, there are a number of senior housing units down that road, and she was in the senior category driving the car. I guess my first request is, is there any way to expedite that traffic light? And in the meantime, is there any way we could put some flashing lights on the north side and south side of Rome coming up to that intersection to try to make people more aware of that intersection? It's very dangerous. I cross it from time to time anyway because I have two sisters that live on either side of Rome Street on Mountain View Road, and it is very difficult trying to get across 5 lanes of traffic. And then when you have a higher concentration of senior population out there, that's their only way to get over to Walmart or in that direction, unless they go out on the Bristol Highway and come around. So that's my request, if we could have it studied a little bit, see if we can do something that, we've already had one fatality about 6 months ago, and it was an elderly lady who was killed there.
That is a TDOT project, and we'll make contact with them and see if we can accommodate this to the Absolutely.
Very good. Anybody else? Thanks very much, Commissioner Fowler, Mr. Peterson, and I will see you back on July 20th. Thank you.
Send lots of postcards.
How are you waiting?